Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. My name is Beatriz. I am the founder of Be a Boss Coaching. I go by Bia. I am a clarity and strategy coach, and I am also the host of the Be a Boss Coaching podcast. So, if you are here in this YouTube channel, there is some podcast episodes that you can listen to. So I encourage you to go and listen to the other Be a Boss Coaching podcast episodes. Season 4 is in the works, so be on the lookout for that. But I wanted to come today and share a topic and talk about a topic that I believe affects a lot of us, actually, in particular, procrastination. But here's the thing. What if I told you that your procrastination isn't just poor time management, right? What if it's actually trying to tell you something? And you could actually be learning a lot about yourself if you were to really dig deep into why we procrastinate and breaking out of the habit of procrastination. Okay, so I want to go over that. But before I go into it, I want to let you know of a new workshop that I will be having on March 15th. It is happening here at Be a Boss Coaching. If you go to beabosscoaching.com, you can register for my webinar or workshop. I'm calling it a workshop, but it's called the Podcasting Basics Workshop. And I will go over the podcasting tips that I've learned as a new entrepreneur, as a podcast host. I will be going over the questions that you could be asking yourself so that you can see if podcasting is the right medium for you, and how podcasting can be a very powerful tool for self-expression. So if you're interested in podcasting, if you're not sure if podcasting is the right move for you, if you should start a podcast, I encourage you to come to my workshop March 15th at 11 a.m. and to also become part of my newsletter and become a subscriber where you can receive discounts to future workshops and first dibs on any future offers that I will be announcing. So I encourage you to be part of that. And I just also share a lot of my writing there, my blogs, and I share, of course, when podcasting opportunities come into play, new episodes, and my tips and insights as a woman of color, Latina entrepreneur here in LA. So I invite you to come do that. Another announcement, I will be creating a circle. So I'm starting a lean in leader circle, and I'm calling it the Introvert Entrepreneur in LA Circle. So if you're an introvert, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're in the LA area, come to my first circle meeting. I don't have the date yet for that first circle meeting, but I already have the circle set up for that, and that will be coming soon. So if you'd like to know when that is starting, again, come and join my newsletter and you will get a first dibs and information on all of these great resources and events and offers that I'm currently working on. So come on over to beabosscoaching.com and I'm excited to see you there. All right. So let's dive in. Let's bust a common myth of procrastination right now. So many people believe that working under pressure actually brings out their best work. They say that waiting until the last minute gets them fired up and it boosts creativity. And here's the thing. What we call procrastination is actually a coping mechanism. When we're putting something off, we're usually avoiding specific emotions or fears, and all that last minute adrenaline that we sometimes experience or rush that we might feel, that might feel productive. But what we're actually doing is we're actually putting our bodies through unnecessary stress. So think about it. When you're constantly operating in urgency and emergency mode, you're training your nervous system to function under chronic stress. So I want you to be aware that as entrepreneurs and leaders, this isn't sustainable, and it's potentially actually very damaging and harmful to your long-term success. So here are some powerful tools for you to beat procrastination and begin to chip away at this habit, because when you become aware of it, it's not easy, especially if you've been using procrastination as a coping mechanism. It's hard to just kick it out the window. You need to practice mindfully the antidote to letting go of this habit. So if you've ever tried to build a habit, for example, going to the gym consistently or going for a walk consistently, or maybe getting up in the morning at the same time, you know that it takes time for you to build that habit. So the same way that it takes time for you to build a habit, it also takes time to remove a habit, to let go of a habit. And in order to let go of a habit, we have to be intentional about removing that habit and how we actually do that work. Okay, so I want to share some tools with you. And here's number one. So the first one is emotional awareness. And I want you to, in this emotional awareness tip, really what we're doing is you're just acknowledging the avoidance patterns that we often go to when it comes to procrastinating. Because what we're actually doing when we're procrastinating is we're avoiding an emotion. So I want to use a common example. So let's say you're preparing for a presentation. When you think about working on a presentation, what emotions usually come up for you? Is it fear of public speaking? Perhaps it's anxiety about the research that you have to do. Maybe it's boredom with creating the outline, or maybe it's overwhelm about the whole process. When you simply recognize the emotions that are bubbling up for you without judgment, it can be very powerful for you to understand what it is that you're actually avoiding. That's number one. All right. Number two is doing a stakes assessment. So, what I mean by this is asking yourself, what's really at stake here? Consider your professional reputation, your team trust and reliability, the project outcomes, your personal growth and opportunities. Is that momentary relief of avoiding the task worth the potential impact on these areas? So for example, as an introvert and a business owner, I sometimes struggle with networking. So while it's tempting for me to postpone meetings and stay in my comfort zone, I know that being seen as a reliable person is crucial for my business, right? I am a coach. I can sometimes be a consultant, but for the most part, as a coach, I have to be seen as a reliable cheerleader, as a reliable consultant, as a reliable thought partner for my clients, right? It's crucial for my business. So the short-term comfort isn't worth risking my professional relationships. So that's something that you want to ask yourself is what is at stake? What is the message that you're giving people when you are leaving things until the last minute? And how does it impact your work? Okay, number three is really think of a reward system. So when I say a reward system, I'm talking about creating a positive association with tackling your tasks early and setting up rewards. So, for example, if you complete 3 hours of focused work, you treat yourself with your favorite bubble tea, for example. If you finish that presentation outline, watch an episode of your favorite show. One of my favorite shows right now is I'm currently in a TV binging season. And what is out there right now? There's Severance. There's Love is Blind just came out, right? I love TV. So while I'd love to sit and watch my favorite TV show for an hour, what if I use that as an incentive for me to reward myself at the end of a really long focused work session? So if I were to meet my weekly deadlines, plan a special weekend activity. Give yourself a reward. Maybe you go to your favorite breakfast restaurant and indulge in your favorite pancakes. Whatever that means for you to indulge in your breakfast. And I say that because I love breakfast. But anyway, the key here is making the rewards immediate and meaningful to you. So use the reward system as a way to incentivize your focus. And then lastly, number 4 is actually building that focus muscle, right? So when we think about procrastinating, we sometimes even subconsciously get diverted by other things, right? Like let's say we actually put our tasks of creating the outline, for example. Let's say we actually give ourselves 2 hours to completely focus on these tasks. But then someone texts us, or we get a notification, or we get an email from someone and we easily get diverted into these other tasks that are also important, but it makes it easy for us to now then actually continue to avoid the task at hand. Think of this as flexing or training your focus muscle, right? It's beating your procrastination and building the muscle of focus each time. And each time that you do this, each time that you pull yourself back into the work that you committed yourself to do, each time that you do that, you're practicing the muscle of recommitting yourself back to the work, right? And being able to stay focused. Staying focused is actually the muscle here. It's actually the work here. And procrastinating is one of the symptoms that happens when we are easily diverted or easily distracted, and when we allow our focus and our attention to be hijacked. Let's practice not letting our focus and our attention being hijacked, but each time that we pull ourselves back to our work is actually the work. That is the work that we're doing to chip away at this habit of procrastinating. All right? So when you're doing this, you're strengthening your focus, you're building your self-trust, you're improving your integrity, and in the end, I hope that it boosts your self-esteem as well. All right, so start with one important task this week. Notice the emotions that come up for you. Write down what's at stake. Set a specific reward for yourself when you complete your work, and then track your progress. Remember that this isn't about perfection. It's about building better habits over time. All right, I want to thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with the people that you love, people who you think might need it. And remember to check out my basics in podcasting workshop over at beabosscoaching.com. And I'd love to help share your voice with the world. Come on over, be a subscriber, and I'm excited to see you at the workshop. If you'd like me to cover any other topics about entrepreneurship or healing, self-care, leadership, let me know in the comments, and I can't wait to help you show up for yourself. All right, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.